Oh my God, this snow's relentless, you know.
We came out and we saw that our driveway was blocked, and we were a little upset.
I spun around. That wasn't cool. Just said that no flights are going out tonight or tomorrow night, and hopefully I will get on a different flight.
Pretty tired here by myself. If you want to grab a shovel, I got plenty.
Oh, Long Islanders talking about the blizzard. I don't know if we're going to call it the Christmas blizzard or the Christmas storm, but certainly left us with a lot of snow. Welcome back to Long Island Talks here on News 12 Long Island. It certainly was extraordinary. Some people lucky enough to skip work today because they had no choice. They couldn't get into New York City because of the trains. The roads were certainly a commuting nightmare. My guest here in the studio is Sam Kille of the Nassau chapter of the American Red Cross. And joining me by phone now is Joe Calderoni, Vice President of Public Affairs for the LIRR. Hi, Joe. Thanks so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, so what's the latest with the LIRR?
Well, we have some good news tonight. We were able to restore some limited service this evening at about 6 o'clock on the Port Washington branch. We're continuing to have issues, though, with switches, and also our big issue is impacted snow and ice on the third rail. So we have de-icing equipment out. We're going to be working, as we've been working since the storm began, throughout the night to free that up. And we're concentrating, and this is, for tomorrow morning, we're concentrating, and even later this evening, the Huntington, Babylon, and Ronkonkoma branches, our primary branches, along with Port Washington. We're hopeful by later this evening, possibly to be able to restore some very limited service on Huntington, Babylon, and Ronkonkoma, in addition to Port Washington. And then tomorrow morning, again, we're talking about very limited service. This is not going to be a normal weekday commute tomorrow on the Long Island Railroad. We're still having significant issues, but we're concentrating, and this is, you can help us get this message out for our commuters. Those primary branches, Port Washington, Ronkonkoma, Babylon, Huntington, we're kind of in a triage situation here, and our goal is to restore some limited service on those branches.
Okay, so if you normally drive to something on another branch, just concentrate on one of those 3 primary branches.
That's exactly right. And tomorrow is also a good day for kiss and drive. We have been out plowing.
No parking lots.
If you go to our website later tonight, we're going to have a list of parking lots that we have inspected, and that's the town, village, or Long Island Railroad, depending on who's responsible for it. So, but there's still a lot of snow out there.
Oh yeah.
A lot of piles of snow out there. So, get the spouse to get up a little early and drop you off at the station.
All right, Joe, you have to explain this to me, though, because we've had a lot of snow before. The LIRR has certainly dealt with big storms and big blizzards before. What happened this time?
This was, as you've been reporting, the length of the storm, the winds involved with this storm, the switches, for instance. So we had a lot of issues with switches. As soon as we cleared them out, the snow would blow right back in. Because of the high winds and the drifts that were involved here, even though we had crews out there throughout the storm, as soon as we cleared it, it came back. And then also, as we said in advance, when we have snow, between 10 and 13 inches, that's when it gets above the third rail. And 80% of the Long Island Railroad fleet is electric. We need to draw power from that third rail, and right now we have ice and impacted snow above that third rail. We have de-icing equipment that's designed to go in there and take care of that, but we got 700 miles of track. We have 120 miles of geographic territory from the west end of Manhattan to the tip of Montauk. We have 11 branches. On a typical day, we run 700 trains. So it's a lot of territory. You can't just dig out from this at the snap of a finger. It's complicated, and it takes a lot of effort.
Can you get the diesels out quickly enough to compensate for it?
Well, in fact, the diesels are what we are using now. That first train from Port Washington that I mentioned was a dual mode, what they call a dual mode diesel train, and that's exactly correct. That's what we're using initially. But again, 80% of our fleet are electric trains, so you can't replace 80% of the fleet with 20%.
Yeah,
even I know, and I'm math challenged. So even I know that's not going to work.
Yeah, there's the technology working against us instead of for us. So tomorrow morning, for the people who are going to try to get on the train and get into the city, I mean, all schedules blown out the window. It doesn't matter what the normal schedule usually says.
That is correct. You need to pay close attention, get up a little early, turn on News 12, go to the website, mta.info, and boy, the best way to stay in tune with what's going on is to sign up for our customer email alerts. We deliver it right to your phone. We're going to be giving you the best information by text right at your phone or on the website.
What do you say to the riders who are just so frustrated right now?
Well, you know what? I think in some ways we were lucky today. It is a holiday week. People took off. People saw it was a blizzard. So it was an extra day after Christmas. I think people knew what was coming. We told people in advance what was coming. Your forecast told people in advance what was coming. So for the vast majority of people, I think they spent the day digging out. And they realize it's a major storm.
Oh, yeah. Joe, as always, thank you so much for giving us the information, and good luck with clearing this all up, and the workers out there be safe as they're trying to clear the rails. Thanks, Joe. We will, of course, talk to Joe on the morning show when they start at 5 o'clock as well. Also on the air right now with me on the phone to talk about travel, Robert Sinclair, Jr. of AAA New York. Hi, Robert. Good to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. Good to talk to you.
It's good to find out from you. What's the situation with the airports right now, and when do you think that's going to get any better?
Well, a couple of the airports have opened, but the flights are very limited. With the hub and spoke system that we have these days, you have to get planes in order to get them out. And I think a lot of airlines were realizing that the storm was coming and got planes out of here, but we still have to get them back in, and to do that, you have to plow runways. And that takes time, the equipment, and as a result, we're still kind of shut down as far as flying planes in and out, even though the airports might actually be open.
You think it might be a full week before we get that situation straightened out?
The Port Authority is saying that it might take a day or so to even things out, to get things back to running normally. You got a lot of people that are sitting around hoping that's the case.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure.
All right, you and I have talked about Long Island's roadways, specifically our parkways, for a long time. I was thinking about you yesterday when I saw that 4-hour or so backup on the Southern State Parkway. I mean, what happened there, and how do we make sure something like that doesn't happen again?
Well, it gets to the point where you just can't keep up with the snow that was falling. Not only was it falling hard, but the wind was blowing it, and you had a lot of major drifts. So even though you might send a plow through and drop some salt and sand down on it, the wind is blowing the sand and salt off the road, and it's blowing the snow right back on. You combine that with people being out on the road, and it creates problems. Unlike the railroad, every time a person drives by, it's that person's car and their driving ability. All it takes is one to jam things up. And so every car is an opportunity for something to go wrong, and all it takes is one person, and then you've got a problem.
Overall on an ABCD scale, how would you rate our roads and how we fared through this storm?
Wow. That's really tough. We didn't do well, but the things were against us. The elements were definitely against us on this one. Lots of heavy snow, lots of wind. It was a bad combination. It's interesting to see that some of the weather forecasters are saying that this was the equivalent to a low-grade hurricane.
Yeah, certainly a nor'easter. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a real tough situation. I think that we haven't seen anything like this for a while. We've had
and let's wait.
Snowstorms.
Let's wait before we see another one. Robert Sinclair from AAA New York, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. In the final 30 seconds I have, people might still need help as we go on during the week, especially being without power. How do you contact the Nassau chapter of the Red Cross?
Well, they can call us at 516-747-3500.
That'll be on our website, right?
And the Suffolk chapter is 631-924-6700.
And as always, both chapters always looking for volunteers to be there to help in these time of situations. Thanks for always being there for us.
Oh, no problem.
By phone here in the studio and for our viewers. If you'd like some more information on all the snow, including the numbers to report